And I want to transition here a little bit to some of the news that came down earlier this week. Blake Griffin is a Brooklyn Net, as I'm sure a lot of people have heard. Monday, the Brooklyn Nets officially announced they've signed the deal with the six-time All-Star, who will probably come off the bench for Brooklyn, most likely, realistically speaking. The deal comes with, I would say, a lot of doubt, to be honest. And this is just objectively speaking. I think Blake Griffin is not dunking like he used to. He doesn't dunk at all, really. And his defense is definitely subpar. That cannot really be denied from a Nets team that really needs defense. And then some of the argument has been made, well, he's been shooting a lot more jump shots instead of dunking, but he's shooting at 36% this season. So that's not that great either. So to me, there's a lot of doubts, and that makes this deal just a little confusing to me. But I don't want to guide the question too much because I want to get your opinion on this, Ryan. What do you think about this?
Yeah, I think. Sorry.
Go ahead, Ryan.
I kind of go on I'm taking a different angle on this. I'm kind of looking at this from a glass half full perspective. Blake Griffin on the Pistons, we obviously know after his surgeries, he's not who he once was. And he was making a ton of money. He was on a huge contract and he was averaging 12-5. And that's not really going to cut it. So that was the main issue. I think he was under a lot of scrutiny and he had to play 31 minutes a game because the Pistons were not a good team. They're the worst team in the Eastern Conference right now. But on the Nets, I think the key difference what people need to realize, he doesn't have to play 31 minutes a game. He really doesn't have to have a big role on this team at all. I mean, you got guys like Jeff Green and Bruce Brown's been playing the big man role a little bit. And Blake Griffin, he just needs to provide just a little bit to kind of make this all work out a little bit. And, you have James Harden, you have Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant whenever he comes back. Those three guys are going to get all the attention. Blake Griffin could easily provide some source of production with all the attention sort of diverted on those three guys. So I really don't think that there's much of risk involved. And I think it could actually work out decently well for the Nets. He's on a veteran's minimum. So at this point, you're not taking on his contract. So why not get another big man? I think this is a fine move for the Nets. I know a lot of people kind of feel differently, but that's kind of where I'm leaning. I don't think this is a bad move at all.
Yeah, I'm kind of surprised you're looking at it so negative, Sam, just because, I mean, if you're looking at like what they're doing right now, obviously, one, they don't need Blake Griffin to be what he was, and he's not what he was, right? He's not the dunker. He hasn't dunked since 2019. But if you really look at this Nets team, depth has been an issue. Jeff Green is playing 26 minutes a game. Nick Claxton is playing 15 minutes a game. So right there, Blake Griffin is an upgrade over them, I would say. He's going to provide what Jeff Green's giving you with a little more explosiveness. And the other thing is, I think the change of scenery is going to help him a lot because going into this year, he was told by management, we're probably going to buy you out, you and Derrick Rose. You're not going to be here towards the end of this year. We want you to kind of just guide the young guys along, provide some experience for them. When you're Blake Griffin and that's what you're told, you're not really going out there and giving it your all, diving for every loose ball. His role was kind of to be an anchor there to get the young guys in shape. And now he's going to a win now team. I think this is going to rejuvenate him a little bit, get some of that fresh legs back because this is his last best chance at a ring. He knows that. Everyone knows that. And with what they're going to need him to do, Steve Nash told him, you're going to play the 4 and small ball 5. They're not really asking him to go out there and do anything crazy. He's not going to be ball dominant. He's not going to be doing anything he's not capable of. And it's a minimum. It's 1.2. We can talk about in a minute other possible targets, but I wouldn't say the Nets are done, right? Obviously, we all know they need a pure 5 who can rebound and defend. Blake Griffin is absolutely not that. And I think that's why people are killing the deal, not really taking into account that they don't have to be done here. They can still add to this team.
Yeah, I think that's where I kill the deal, to be honest, is just because, but I mean, you guys bring up good points. I'll give you credit. I think there's little risk involved in this move. There's very little risk involved in this move. I mean, they're not paying him too much. He's coming off the bench. You're right. The depth thing is an issue and he might help out with that. But for me, I'm just tough on this Nets team because I saw them make a move and go get James Harden, which I'll admit even on this very show, I was very critical of that move, and it worked out. It's worked out very well to this point. So, I'll take that. But they're obviously in a win now situation, and they have this pretty small window, I would say, of maybe 2-3 years, as long as they have KD, Kyrie, and Harden under one roof, which I think is about 3 years. So they're in a win now situation for sure. And to me, for them initially, my gut reaction when this trade went down, I was just confused, because I was like, well, what happened to, that five, that defensive center that they were looking for, that was really going to complete this team and kind of round them out, especially defensively, where they've obviously struggled. So that was where I thought initially. I was like, that doesn't fit that mold at all. And no one's arguing that. No one's arguing that Blake Griffin's going to be that guy, that five, that defensive center. So that's where the move just confused me, because I think the Nets are in a win now situation, and you really need to just push all the chips to the center of the table here and just really go after it. And I hope they're not done. Like you said, Ryan, I hope this isn't the end of it, because I really tend to doubt this Nets team just a little, because for me, they're still one defensive piece away. And I can't deny what these three guys, KD, Kyrie, and Harden, obviously have done offensively and have done for this team. And I think in the Eastern Conference, they might walk through it and find themselves in the NBA Finals. But if I'm a Nets fan, or if in general looking at this team, I'm not 100% confident, which I know it sounds crazy because they're playing really well right now. But it's also the regular season. Come playoff time, they're in a win now mode. And I think they really need to go all in, and going all in for me would be getting that five, that defensive center that can help round the team out. That's Andre Drummond, in my opinion. We'll get into that in a second here. But I had to defend myself, because you guys were, you guys are looking glass half full. I'm not as negative as I may seem, I guess, with this Nets team, because they are very good, and they're lighting the East on fire right now. They're playing really well without KD. Even they've been picking up the slack, it seems like. And when he's back, having all three of those guys healthy at once is dangerous for every other team in the Eastern Conference, and basically every other team in the NBA. But I just think, I guess for me, a little pessimistically, I'm thinking, to really complete this team, they're just one move away.
But here's the thing with the reality of the NBA, because I've talked about this on previous shows. The buyout market is such a factor. All the guys on big deals who can't get dealt are going to get bought out. Andre Drummond, you just brought up, is an obvious name. There will be other names. They will get a chance to get a rim blocker. And when you have a chance at Blake Griffin, there's no other elite big man on the market right now. It's not like you're choosing between a Drummond or a Griffin. Why not scoop him up so the Lakers can't? It's been reported. Blake Griffin said there were 3 teams interested in him. One of them has to be the Lakers. They've been linked to him forever. They would have loved to get a guy like him. Why just let him walk out the door and go to the Lakers when you could scoop him up for $1.2 million, right? As you said, they are all in. Draft picks traded away, the future traded away. There's a 3-year window. Why not maximize it? It's $1.2 million for Blake Griffin. It's not a risk. If you let him leave, it's a bigger risk, because he could be going to the Lakers and he could kill you in the finals. So I love this move for the Nets. Confidence-wise, I can't believe you're not confident. I mean, it looks like they're gonna steamroll their way to the finals. Once you get there, it's another story. But they just look so good right now, and they're not even at full strength. I don't think we'll see them really as the super team they are until the playoffs, because for now it's just keeping them healthy, right? Make sure KD's legs are holding up. Make sure Harden doesn't come down with something. Kyrie's had injuries in the past. You keep them healthy. You get them healthy going to the playoffs. And this Nets team, they obviously have the talent to win it all, right? We're not denying that. So adding Blake Griffin, no problem with it. Let him go to the Lakers and he beats you. I mean, you're going to be questioned for the offseason. So I love the move for them overall.
Right. And you mentioned the Lakers. They're contending for big men too. And the Nets kind of needed to at least take a chance, really. And they'll have a chance with Andre Drummond, who the Lakers are also heavily pursuing. So I'm in agreement with you. I think that, taking a shot with Blake Griffin, no harm, good move for the Nets.